world famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast. And of course, back at you with another edition this week on Spotify and of course Skyhawk AfterDarkRadio.com. And we have got Dr. Monique with us today. She joins us live here on our program to talk about Chicago and Exotica. Holy shit, I hope her Exotica was a lot better than our Exotica. I'll tell you, what our Exotica was summed up by Big Will's Facebook post that he put up the day that we all left Chicago, which was our entire rooms needed pineapple support. That was a horrible weekend. But what was your weekend like at Exotica in Chicago? Let's talk a little bit about that, my friend.
My weekend was pretty awesome. Yeah, I had not been to Chicago in a long time as an adult. So I was really, really happy to go, and my longtime friend joined me. And I got to meet lots of new people and got to see people I didn't see in a long time. People that I met like in Jersey and at the Chantilly, Virginia, Exotica last year. So I was happy to see them again.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what was, you got there what, Thursday? Is that when you got to
Yes.
Chicago?
Yes, I got there on the Thursday, and then I met like with the Exotica staff, and got to sit on their team meeting, and that's always super awesome. But this one was specifically like beautiful. It was beautiful because it was their 20th anniversary, and it was great. Just like the energy in the room, with it Jay, Brittany, and Dave with Exotica. They're fucking awesome leadership.
Yep.
And it was just great to be a part of that team meeting specifically.
That's awesome.
It was just
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So why did they invite you to the team meeting? That is it. What was it, because of pineapple support or?
No, not necessarily. So I'm always invited to their team meeting. I typically can't get there on Thursdays. That's usually the day that I like travel.
Yeah.
But that day I ended up getting there earlier on Thursday, so it actually worked out that I could attend in person. Typically they'll like loop me in on like a Zoom thing just so that Exotica staff that's working the floor knows where pineapple support is and who is representing them. This year at AVN, Leia with Pineapple Support got me some really nifty shirts, and they say Dr. Monique on the sleeves, so that was easier for my Exotica events.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but typically it's just like for me to say, hi, this is who I am. This is what I'm here. I'm here to support everyone, not just talent, but all the other sponsors and booths that are there, and then to provide, support for staff too, because it's a lot to put on the show.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We have got Dr. Monique with us today. She joins us live here on our big program, Skyhawk AfterDarkRadio.com, and also Spotify. And you can find us each and every week at JiggyJaguar.info. So your Thursday, you do the team meeting, you do all that. What is your Friday like in Chicago at Exotica?
Friday is pretty much the same for my Friday is pretty much the same as just getting my ass up and ready. I think Friday was the day that I had the podcast with Media Big Will.
Yep.
So that was awesome. And then right after that, I literally ran over to the booth so I could make sure everything was ready, and had to find tables and chairs from the venue because there was only one table and I think 3 chairs. So we had to borrow some from some other booths that weren't there yet, and get everything all situated and to make sure that everybody and everything was good.
That's awesome.
I had to walk the floor also so I could familiarize myself with where booths are, because a lot of people stop at our booth, say, hey,
Yeah,
do you know where this one is, or do you know where that one is? And so that gave me a chance to do that.
that's awesome. That's awesome. We have got Dr. Monique with us today. She joins us live here on our big program, Skyhawk After Dark Radio.com this week. We've got Dr. Monique with us from Pineapple Support, talking a little bit about her trip to Chicago and all the various things that happened in Chicago there. So once you get into the expo and once you've, familiarized yourself and you're at the booth and you're doing all the various things that you're doing, what is that whole process like from, being in the booth and taking care of all that? Because you're obviously there, I guess quasi as management, but not really like official talent. What is that like?
Right. Yeah, so at the Pineapple Support booth, we have talent and creators that sign. So they bring kind of their merch and whatever stickers, whatever they want to sell, do pictures, face sitting, all that fun stuff. And so I just make sure they're there. They sign up for like 2 hour shifts. So at every Exotica that we're at, we split up the day into 2 hours, and different talent volunteers their time. They don't get paid for it, so this is 2 hours of their own time that they come, and as a courtesy in return, we let them bring, like I said, like their merch, whatever other things they want to do. When their fans come over, they tell them about Pineapple Support, because a lot of people mistake Pineapple Support for being like a swinging lifestyle stuff, and it's not really that. It's about mental health support. So just kind of providing psychoeducation or re-education of what Pineapple Support is, and then their fans, take pictures or do whatever with the talent, and then they typically scan the QR code and donate, and we always love that because that's what keeps us going.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We have got Dr. Monique with us today. She joins us today here via the magic of Skype, and she is with us here on Skyhawk After Dark Radio.com. And Dr. Monique was part of Exotica in Chicago. And what exactly do you do once this is all over with? Once you're, done with your stint in Chicago at Exotica, what is the next event that you attend and that you go to?
Yeah, so the next event that I'll be attending will be the Miami Exotica in June. And then in between, so now and then, I just kind of prepare things. There's a group that I'm hosting starting May 6th or 7th, I believe, through Pineapple Support, and it's for partners of those in the adult industry. And it's a free group. You just go on to the Pineapple Support website or look at our social media, sign up to be a part of it. And it's a 6-week kind of support group where I'll be facilitating conversations about people who are not active talent, not creators, but their partners are. So that I have that going on. And then I also have like a monthly, it's like mindful moderation to sobriety group,
Okay.
like support group. That's also through Pineapple Support. That's monthly. It's the first Thursday of every month. It's also free to sign up. So I do that. And then I have a family. I have a husband who's smoking some ribs right now that I'm looking forward to eating in about 4 hours. And so just do regular shit.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I am very interested in what you just brought up. This whole support group for people that are not necessarily in the adult entertainment industry, but their partners are in the adult entertainment industry. Because I noticed at Exotica, I ran in for whatever reason. I haven't noticed this at any of these other events that we've covered, but I noticed it at the Chicago one, and that is there are a lot of people, whether it's, men, women, trans, what have you. There is a lot of them that they're in the industry, but the partner is not.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about this group and that whole thing that you're going to be doing.
Yeah, so the group, it's something that's often requested, and actually it came up when I was in Jersey last year. Is somebody came up, they were from a different booth, and they said, "Hey, do you guys have a group for my husband?" And I said, "We don't. We have the request often." So I kind of pitched the idea to Leia, and Leia was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it." So we put it together, and um, I think I don't have that many people signed up from what I saw, which was sad. So I'm hoping that, I'll send you the information and you can blast it out, um, or something, and they can sign up. But it would essentially be just like a support group for partners who are not directly involved in the industry, that are just there to support their creator, their significant other,
Yeah.
and how to manage that and what that looks like and the different nuances that come with that.
Yeah, because that is an interesting thing, because I noticed a lot of the if the female was the talent and the partner happened to be the husband or the boyfriend or whatever, they were like the person who was carrying the merch, or they were they were
Yeah.
making sure that they were holding on to their purse or whatever during the shoot, or they were making sure that they got them to where they needed to be, or things like that. Uh, that
Yeah.
is an interesting dynamic. Talk to us a little bit about your experiences in dealing with folks that they've got a partner who's in the industry, but they're not in the industry, because that is fascinating to me for some reason.
Yeah. I'd say for the most part, the biggest themes that I've seen, that, or the most common themes that come across, when I see people as like couples counseling for industry, is, well, obviously the first elephant in the room is kind of jealousy, or pseudo jealousy. So it's not even
Yeah.
jealousy. It's like they realize, like, they understand, that their partner creates content, whether it's by themselves, and that's always their preferred go-to, but oftentimes that's not. Where they have to shoot scenes with other people, either same sex or opposite sex, and it does, eventually, unless the relationship was open to begin with, or polyamorous to begin with,
Yeah.
um, for someone coming from like a more typical kind of traditional monogamous relationship, it can definitely be challenging. So, you know, helping partners that are non-industry, just kind of process that, and almost grieve like a version of themselves and a version of that marriage or the
Yeah.
partnership before the transition. It's always helpful, if the partner's open, and you know, um, if they have an agent who can help better explain things, but that's not always the case. And then the second one is, so the first part is like that kind of transition of monogamy to, are they still monogamous to me, but this is just their job. And
Yeah.
so helping them understand that that's what it is. It's not that they're cheating on you. It's, this is their job, and you knew this kind of coming into it, but you're still here. And then the second part would be, um, kind of like, I guess, imposter syndrome for the person that's not the talent. Like, am I good enough? Am
Yes.
I, like, what am I doing here? Like, that
Yes.
questioning. And I think those are things that happen in regular relationships, outside of like civilian relationships too. So it's not really any different. I'd just say it might be more emphasized.
Well, the thing that I've always thought about with this is, at the end of the shoot, or the end of the scene, or whatever you want to refer to this as, you're going home with them. They're going home with you, type thing.
Right.
And that's the thing that I've always thought. maybe that's a little comforting to them, but at the same time, I also like what you were saying, where this is just what they're doing. This is just work, sex work is work type thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I always like to bring it back to um like you have a job, so like this, the non-performer partner has a job. I can
Yeah.
guarantee that if I went into their job, even if their job is a super like quote unquote masculine one, like a construction worker, I can guarantee you there's some motherfucker there, boy or girl, that you're spending extra time with, that you're going to lunch with, that you're buying breakfast for. And if the tables were turned, what would your spouse think if they really knew what was happening? Would they
Yeah.
feel some type of way? And typically it is. It's like, I don't know if you've seen on social media recently, there's this, or maybe it's just on my feed, but on my TikTok feed, I always see these things. Most recently, talking about, oh, my work husband or my work wife.
Yes.
And
I've
it's the
seen
same
that.
fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know that Sean Elliott, who goes to these exoticas, he's always talking about how he always has an exotica wife. where he's got a wife who's at home, but when he's at these events, he's got somebody he hangs out with at breakfast, or she's in the booth with him at the expo. They're not fucking around or anything. They're just companionship or whatever for that weekend.
Right.
So that
yeah.
We have got Dr. Monique with us today. She joins us live here in our broadcast. And she is available on the Twitter machine. It is Key Rose LLC, the number 1, if you want to go over and follow her and see all the various things that she's involved with. Now, besides the adult industry, you do all sorts of other things. Talk to us a little bit about this.
Yeah. So I still do things like adult content, not adult content, like adult industry related.
Yeah.
But outside of pineapple. So I represent mental health at the National Exotic Dancer Expo.
That's awesome.
This year it'll be back in Vegas. I also publish in their magazine every month. So there's like a mental health article on there about, securing the bag and dancing and being so grateful.
Awesome.
I wasn't gifted with I can't even fucking walk in heels.
Hey, I'll tell you, that whole walking in heels thing. I did a smoker fight one time, and when I used to do all those, we would always do weird things at the weigh-ins where I would dress up as like one time I dressed up in I had bunny ears and a mankini. And one time they wanted to dress me up like a woman. So they did my makeup and they put a wig on me and I wore a dress and they gave me heels. And I damn near, from the locker room to the scale, broke my fucking neck walking in those damn heels. So I can see.
Yeah, definitely not. I can't do that. I can do some wedges, but nothing so fancy as heels. But yeah, so I represent mental health in that space as well, kind of separate from Pineapple Support.
That's awesome.
And then I provide. So I see clients in person here in Las Vegas. Most of them, well, up until this year, most of them were kids. They were kids involved in their parents' contentious custody cases. So I'm often court ordered, like a court ordered therapist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then I help people with like immigration issues, acculturation.
That's
things
awesome.
Like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So with the providing the therapist part of it to the stripper world, how is that the same but a little bit different than your work with the folks in the adult film world?
There's definitely a lot of similarities. I say the only difference is the only dancers that I work with,
Yeah.
and this is not necessarily like by choice. It's just the ones that have come to me to work with me, are women dancers. So like we're in the adult industry. I I treat both like males, females,
Oh
trans,
yeah.
everyone in between,
Yeah.
and through the exotic dancer um, population, it's mostly just women. It's women.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I might work with like a male manager that says, "Hey, I want you to come into the club and do like a corporate training on something, or, do crisis management, something like that." But it's not like they're the talent that I'm working with.
Yeah.
I would say that's the only difference.
Well, with the with the strippers and the exotic dancers and all this, a lot of them, at the end of the night, they're they're that's their job. They're going home.
Yeah, yeah,
And they're not, for lack of a better term, they're not fucking anybody at work. All they're doing is just dancing
yeah.
and making money. So, talk to us a little bit about some of the, what is some of like the mental part of that, because there's a lot of people, I'm sure, that don't know anything or think about any of that. They think, oh, these chicks love going to work and taking their clothes off and dancing around and all the stuff. Kind of talk to us a little bit about some of the different things you've seen and what people don't know about that world.
I would say probably the biggest one is rejection. They deal with rejection on a fucking hourly basis, if not more than hourly. Every time a new client walks through that door, they typically, most clubs require them to acknowledge that person and
Yeah.
offer a dance. And 9 out of 10 times, they're going to get rejected.
Yeah.
So being able to deal with that constant rejection for, I don't know, at least 2 hours that they're working. Most of them
Yeah.
work longer depending on the day or night, and then depending on their level. If they're a baby stripper, they might be working like super long shifts, not
Yes.
making any money at all.
Yeah.
Versus a veteran stripper who can come in on a Thursday or Friday or a night when she's expected, and she works a couple hours and leaves with 2 trash bags. Yeah, so I would say rejection is definitely a hurdle that not most, all dancers go through. Um, and then a lot of that kind of self worth if they're not making so much money. So, like, yeah, well, I have a really, really good friend who's a beautiful dancer, and there's nights where she'll make 2 or 3 trash bags full, and then there's other nights
Wow.
where she'll go back the next day and will make enough to put in her clutch, and that's it. Enough
Yeah.
money to pay everyone out and go home. So being able to deal with that rejection and then the fluctuation of, am I going to be able to,
Yep.
you know, to make it today, or make it tomorrow? And then even with that, you got to remember the resilience it takes to keep on coming back. As with everything that we do in life, consistency. If we're going to do it one time, we got to do it all the time with that same, effort.
Yeah.
And when our effort is variable based on life happening, it fucks us all up. I
Yes.
mean, there's no other way to put it. And I mean,
Yep.
even me, like when shit goes wrong in my life, like in my personal life, some days I'll have to cancel. Like I'll have to cancel my plans. I'll text them and say, "Hey, life is lifing. I'm sorry, we have to reschedule."
Life is
Because
lifing. That is
because I
awesome.
can't. Yeah, I can't fucking sit there and have a session with someone where I'm supposed to support them and I'm over here in my
And
fucking
your
head.
life
And
is
that's
just,
yeah,
falling off a fucking cliff. You're not going to be able to.
yeah,
You're not going to be able to help them out.
yeah.
I think that's cool that you've got that relationship with the people that you deal with. I think that is amazing. We have got Dr. Monique with us today. She joins us live here on our big broadcast and SkyhawkAfterDarkRadio.com. And, of course, you can find us each and every week over there at JiggyJaguar.info. And so besides, we were talking about the, you being in the adult world as far as the therapy part of it. The immigration part of it, I'm sure now more than ever, you have had to deal with. What do you think about that and kind of the uptick that a lot of that has taken? What is that world? What has the impact in that world been for you?
So for me, so I provide like immigration evaluations. So oftentimes when people who don't have legal residency in the U.S. Want to stay in the U.S., they petition the help from an attorney or are self-applicants and fill out their paperwork. And a lot of times their paperwork requires them to undergo like a mental health evaluation.
Yeah.
And that's where I come in. And honestly, I've been doing it for the last like 6 to 8 years.
Oh wow!
So I did it at the Trump's last presidency. So it doesn't affect it as much as people think. I think it's more just like the noise.
Yep.
On the media, than that people assume. Okay, shit is definitely not right. I understand that, but I don't see, like, I'm not getting so many calls, like more calls than I was before. I'm still getting the same amount of calls for this service that I provide.
Yeah.
Nothing really has changed. The only thing that has changed is, a lot of the attorneys that I work with, or not that I work with, but that refer to me on a regular basis, will tell me, hey, use this language in your report. So it's more things for me clinically that I have to change to align with whatever, immigration wants to see right now.
That's awesome. We've got Dr. Monique with us today. She joins us live here on our big broadcast. So you being involved with so much stuff and so many various things, how did you amass all this? What was the did one lead to the other how did all this happen? Because just listening to you here and everything that you're talking about, you've gotten involved with a lot of various things, and a lot of them all don't match up with each other. It's amazing.
Yeah. I think the biggest matchup is that they're three very personalized and marginalized groups of people.
Yes.
So like the adult industry, that's one.
Yep.
Immigrants, that's another.
Yes.
And then kind of forgotten children of high conflict custody contentious cases.
Yes.
And that's another. As a mom, I always joke with clients and even with like my oldest daughter, I'm like, as a mom, I was pretty good. I'd say I'm better now. With the youngest one that I have, she'll be 11 on the 29th, so in a couple of days. But I have an older one who's 21 also. And so I always tell her, man, if I could have parented you the way I've guided parents to parent their children, man, I would have been fucking grand. She would be in wonderful places now. And then, so yeah, that's that. But I would say they're definitely not related, like as far as the populations that I served. And I think what made me reach out in those areas was, well, definitely it started with those in the adult industry. I have a group of solid female friends that are dancers, and they've been my friends for years. And at my heaviest, they never allowed anyone to treat me like shit. On the contrary, they would be like, awesome. Monique, you got to stand up for yourself. And these were like, they're badass bitches. They're still badass bitches. That's awesome. Like, they would get people thrown out of clubs, not just their club that they danced in, but if we went out to eat, if we went out to another club to, listen to music or party or whatever, they would get people thrown out.
That is amazing. They were rude to
their big girlfriend.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
You've got like your own stripper mafia. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, they're great. They're great, and they're always empowering. And it was through them that it kind of gave me the confidence that I needed at that time in my life to continue going to school. And there was a time, Jiggy, when I wanted to be a lawyer. I even took the LSAT and everything,
Wow,
and I scored pretty decently.
That is
Again,
awesome.
life, and I ended up going to therapy instead, and like myself personally because of life events. And I realized, well, fuck, I said I would sit in front of this lady. She was this older white lady, and she would kind of look up at me from behind her notebook, and I'm wondering, like, what the fuck is this bitch writing down? Like,
that
I
is
don't
amazing.
understand. And so I figured, okay, I'm going to be a therapist. I'm going to be the therapist where someone like me can walk in and be like, this bitch is fucking crazy, but I can be myself with her. And so
awesome.
I like to think that that's the version of me that people meet and see, is that, yeah, Monique's a little kooky. She uses lots of colorful words all the time, unless I'm testifying in court as an expert witness, mind you. So that's the only time that I'm not my authentic self. Well,
So
the polished version of my authentic self.
So what was the area of law that you were hoping to get involved in if you would have seen the whole lawyer thing through?
My ultimate goal was to go to Pepperdine University and they had like a dual program where it's a JD and a master's in divinity.
Yeah.
I went to a parochial high school.
Yeah.
Just to explain that, my bachelor's is in religious studies and criminal justice. So like I was heavy on that. Like, this is what I'm gonna do. And then life happened, and my older daughter's dad was murdered, and
oh, wow.
I like shit just spiraled. And I realized then that was when I realized, like, okay, I still want to be a lawyer. I want to go and be like a criminal attorney and eventually be a judge. And then the world had different plans. and here I am now.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So building everything, together and wearing the various hats and the various worlds that you're involved in, especially like with the stripper dancer part of it, because I know that out there, because we used to interview, like, when these porn stars would come to various clubs and they would do the featured dancing thing. Yeah. We would always, talk to a lot of the local girls or hang out with the local girls or whatever. And strippers are some very, very interesting girls to hang around with. They are damn entertaining. And one of the things that I always thought was interesting is there's a lot of them that they don't realize how much fucking power they have. Because, guys are going in to see them. It's not the other way around. Right. Have you run into that and dealt with a lot of dancers that don't realize that they have as much power as they do?
Yeah, definitely. But I think because of the rejection that they face on a, almost, I'd say like 15 minutes, every 15 minutes a new client walks in, right?
Oh, yeah.
So like at least 4 times an hour, and these girls are facing rejection. And the baddest bitch in the room can get in her head real quickly and go down their rabbit hole of shit.
Yep.
And so every now and then it does take, me or their house mom or, someone else in their space to remind them just how bad of a person, like a bad bitch in a good way, like just how fucking awesome of a person they are, how much power they do have in that moment. And that's not always available.
Yeah. Dr. Monique with us today. She joins us live here on Skyhawk, AfterDarkRadio.com, and of course, JiggyJaguar.info. And she joins us this week, and she's talking about all the various things she's involved in, which, my God, you ought to write a book based upon all the stuff that you're involved in. Holy shit. So one of the things that you brought up that we didn't really touch on is the whole custody battle thing. With dealing with children of these divorces, what is that like? Because you're dealing with, very, very vulnerable people.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, earlier you had said that some of it they don't really add up. The majority of the clients that I get for the custody cases are actually one of the parents is typically either a creator or a dancer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so not all of them, but I've had more than a handful, more than two handfuls of them in the
Yeah.
last 5 years that I've been here in Vegas. Like people specifically know, like, okay, Dr. Monique is a sex worker friendly. She'll be able to,
Yeah.
to go through, I don't know, reunification or family therapy in such a way where, maybe another therapist might be like, what are you doing? You need
Yeah.
to change your job.
Yeah. And they're going to judge and
Yeah.
all that shit.
Yeah.
Whereas with you are not.
Yeah, no, and I feel like that I can get down to kind of a granular level with someone, both
Yeah.
parents, and just kind of let them know, like, hey, this is it, this is what's what, and this is who's really suffering.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why I come by way of court order often. Is, once two parents have gone so far, mediation's not successful, they go back to court. A lot of them have behavioral orders because they can't fucking behave like parents. They can't behave like adults.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking it's embarrassing. And then they get court ordered a therapist like me, and then they're like, oh shit, this bitch is not playing. She's not scared of me, and she's not scared of my attorney. No, that's why I have my own insurance. No. No, but
That's
and I can
awesome.
say things, tactfully when I need to. I'm a lot better in writing than I am in person. So yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So with that world, what are some of the difficulties, some of the different things that you have to deal with on a regular basis?
I'd say it's not so much like the kids. The kids are awesome. They break the monotony in my day. I have an office kind of like in an outdoor mall area. So if I need to, we go downstairs. I have a 30-minute talk therapy session, and we go downstairs and walk around. And there's a playground there. And if they're that age, they can go play in the playground or whatever. But I think for me, the most challenging part are the parents who can't get out of the mindset that they need to hurt the other parent, because they can no longer see things in the best interest of their child. Instead, they weaponize everything and see things how, if I do this, how much will it hurt my co-parent?
Yeah.
And that sucks. I think more so with all three of the niches that I work with, more than a therapist, I'm their advocate. I am their voice. They tell me their deepest, darkest secrets, and I advocate for them as best as I can.
That's awesome. That is fantastic. So we've got Dr. Monique with us today. She joins us live here on our big program, and getting ready for all the various things. What is your busy season like? Is that more of a winter thing, a summer thing? Does it vary between all the various things you're involved in? What is like your busy season?
I'd say for therapy in general, it's like, in just all therapy, regardless of what it is, it typically starts probably around May or June. And that's typically because like kids are off on summer, so families are more available.
Yep.
So like May or June. So then June we'll say until August, and then there's a lull, and then come November, well October, I said Halloween is typically when it starts. So like Halloween through the first of the year.
Wow.
I think holidays are tough for people. Lots of people like them. Lots of people don't like them. Lots of people pretend to like them and then spiral out at the very end there. Um, and that's definitely where I'm
Yeah.
at my busiest.
Yeah. Well, I do know that holidays are very difficult. I'm not a huge fan of Christmas. I've never been a fan of Christmas. I don't know why. So yeah, December is not usually a good time to be around Sigmund Freud. that is.
We're gonna have to process that one day, you and I.
Maybe we can do that when I see you in New Jersey in October.
Yeah.
So when you go and you when you and the rest of the Pineapple Support crew go out to these events, what are some of the? Because I'm sure that like with the adult entertainment industry, especially because like you were talking about with the strippers, a lot of it is rejection because they're having to be on their shit every 15 minutes. Somebody coming in that door. What is it in the content world, the porn world, that you more than likely deal with on a regular basis?
I guess probably the most common one would be like imposter syndrome related to relevance.
Yeah.
Like, does this matter? Do I matter? Is this what I should be doing? I've been doing it for a long time, or was this, or I'm starting and I started off super strong and now I'm not. Like, now the income's gone down. Like in every industry, there are slow months where people are catching up to bills in general, and
Yeah.
that's everyone as a whole. But then in return, especially content creators, people aren't purchasing so often, they're not subscribing, and that you get in your mind with that, and then you start lacking consistency as a content creator. And earlier I had mentioned consistency is the key to everything. Like, we want to fucking drink more water, we need to drink more water consistently, just a little bit. If we want to lose weight, we need to do it consistently. We want to, be better with our partners in our marriage, with our children, we need to show up consistently. So it's no different with our jobs. But you get so in your head, you go down the rabbit hole of shit. We all have a rabbit hole of shit.
Yes.
And we've made it very comfortable over the years, no matter how uncomfortable it can be. It's the constant thing. That is the consistency that some of us have, is that rabbit hole of shit.
Yeah. That's awesome. We have got a great guest with us today. Dr. Monique is with us. She is amazing as always. You have just a ton of different things going on in your world, and the fact that you can keep it all organized is fucking amazing to me. Going from working with all the various types of people all over the damn place, making that work is just phenomenal. So, being out there in Vegas and being around all the various things, what do you, I guess, what are you more busy with? Is it the strippers? Is it the adult entertainers? Is it the custody stuff? What is the thing?
Business wise, I would say not just therapy in general. It's everyone, and then personal wise, me, just me in my life. I'm married. I'm happily married. I have kids. I have a dog who's a pain in the ass, but he's a handsome beast.
Yeah.
So just being able to manage everything, and like I said, show up consistently and regularly.
That's awesome. Well, Dr. Monique is with us today. She joins us here on our big program. Dr. Monique is with us, and she joins us live here on our big program. And Dr. Monique, before we let you go, how do we get in touch with you online and all the various places to see what you are up to, my friend?
Yeah, so on Twitter, it's what is it? Key Rose LLC #1.
Okay.
And then on IG, it's Key Rose, so KEYROSE LLC. And then those are probably the easiest ones because on there it has all my links to everything else. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
and I provide services in Spanish too.
Wow. So you're just you are all over the place, Dr. Monique. Holy smokes. I just you truly are. You know, I say it all the time on this show when I talk to rappers or porn people or anybody. I always make the comment about you're busier than a fruit merchant. You are really busier than a fruit merchant with everything you're doing. Holy smokes.
Yeah. Yes, I have to be. I guess that's the beauty and the curse of the ADHD brain. Is, I'm kind of have lots of things going on.
Yes.
And in those things I have going on, I have to remember to pour back into my cup so that I can advocate appropriately for everyone else.
That's awesome. Well, Dr. Monique, this has been an honor and a privilege. Thanks for coming on and chatting with us about Exotica and just everything that you do. You are a fascinating individual, and I always love having you on the show, and I was so glad we were able to get you to talk to Big Will and the rest of our crew out there in Chicago at the old, as they say, at the old porn convention.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It was definitely fun, and I definitely look forward to seeing you in New Jersey in October. And
you should come out here like in August to the National Exotic Dancer Expo.
The National Exotic Dancer Expo.
It's worth it.
That would be
at the Flamingo.
It's at the Flamingo. See, now you're just tugging my arm at this point.
Yeah, and remember I told you about my beautiful dancer friend?
Yes.
She's going to come out to my booth and sign at my booth this year. So
oh my God. You're literally giving me no reason not to be there.
I mean, you can write it off. It's a business trip.
There you go. It's a business expense. Look at that. Well, Dr. Monique, you are amazing. I'm definitely going to think about this August thing. Now that you brought up all this, I definitely I haven't been to Vegas since the last since the first ABN that was held at Resorts World. God, I think that was like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
I missed.
It's due time for you to return.
Yes. You know, I've been trying to figure out a way to just move to Vegas. I don't know what the hell it's going to take for me to move to Vegas, but if I can figure out a way, I'm going. I have always wanted to live in Vegas. So, but Dr. Monique, thanks for making some time for us. Thanks for spending as much time as you did with us today. I really appreciate the time, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Doctor.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it, my friend. There she goes. That is Dr. Monique with us today here on Fucking Around with Porn Stars. And, of course, you can find us each and every week over there at Skyhawk After Dark